Let us take a look at the context of Cardano development around and outside Marlowe. This quick overview of the Cardano builder ecosystem is meant to inspire curiosity and see beyond the quick learning curve and finance-centric development brought by the Marlowe special purpose language. Depending on what you want to develop, being aware of Maestro, Blockfrost, the Gauguin and Voltaire eras, input-output group, Cardano Q, and Project Catalyst is essential. Cardano developers sometimes forget how overwhelming it is to newcomers to the ecosystem to navigate the grassroots, open source and bottom-up development that has been going on since the launch of Cardano over 7 years ago. This overview is far from complete, but hopefully gives you hints where to look if you have not discovered all the tools popular or useful at the moment to give your users the best experience on the Cardano blockchain.
Let's take a look at the ecosystem of tools that exists on Cardano alongside Marlowe to develop our projects and smart contracts. Since 2021, with the Alonso hard fork, Cardano has ushered in the Gauguin era of smart contracts and programmable blockchain. You can see on developers.cardano.org an entire overview of this chapter and learn everything about smart contracts and the difference between on-chain and off-chain code. The on-chain, obviously, is the validation that happens on the blockchain, and off-chain is everything that is inside the wallet but outside the blockchain. This could also involve, for example, data feeds that are not directly from on-chain oracles but submitted through an API, for example. So as you see, Marlowe is on top here of the list of languages, but the original smart contract language and the native smart contract language of Cardano is Plutus, which is close to Haskell syntax and is somewhat involved to acquire as a new skill. Because of that, the Aiken language has gained enormous popularity in the last year or so. And beauty of Aiken is that it's really easy to get started. There is a Hello World example here, and this is less than a third of the learning curve that you would have with Plutus. You can immediately get started. It's a Rust-based language, but it's limited strictly to validator scripts. So for your off-chain deployment, you would still need other tools to interact with your users' wallets, to connect the Web3 and the Web2 elements of your project. There's also Option, which is a community-driven and open source project that brings Python to Cardano development. And due to the popularity of Python and especially in the data science and AI field, this is very promising. And you can consider this as, I would say, an alternative to Marlowe, as Marlowe is currently, from the tooling that is being developed, more on the TypeScript, JavaScript side. So it's catered more to web dapps, web development, mobile applications, whereas Option would be more useful if you are using a lot of Python in your project anyway. For example, if you are doing something about AI agents, this might be at the moment prior to further enhancements to the Marlowe runner that could be really beautifully working with artificial intelligence. This could be the go-to solution. I'm not entirely sure about the status of the audit on Option, but I believe that it's being used on mainnet, and it's perfectly adequate to do everything with Option. Then you have PluTS, which is also a TypeScript embedded programming language, but it essentially wraps the Plutus and is a very straightforward way to write smart contracts that have the full power of Plutus. So you have a lot more possibilities than with Marlowe, which is only for payments, for financial transactions, for token transfers. So this will allow you to do minting transactions, to burn tokens, and have the entire spectrum of smart contract possibilities. There is a lot going on Cardano, and it's sometimes difficult to keep track of all the developments. So the Cardano.org website brings all these links, including the developer portal, together. And you should follow this alongside the Cardano Cube, which lists a lot of community-driven and open source projects, what people are building on Cardano, tools that you have, so you can go through all the different wallet developments that are known to the Cardano Cube team, or who have self-submitted their projects and been vetted to be on this platform. You can see marketplaces, stable coins. So this is not an exhaustive list, but it's a very solid resource. Also, there is the lidonation.com website that has a Project Catalyst Explorer. So for the last 3.5 years since the Alonso hard fork, there have been probably 5 or 6 Project Catalyst funds. And when the ADA price was high and there was a bullish environment, sometimes I believe up to $30-40 million were dispersed in a single year for the community and for larger development companies to submit their proposals for the ADA holders to vote on. And if you know names of certain teams, for example, MLabs, which is one of the biggest Haskell and Rust-based developers on the Cardano blockchain, you can see all their funded proposals. So as you can see, everything they have submitted essentially got funded, and there's a lot of templates and open source repositories that are extremely useful, and you can use this Lidonation Explorer to get access to the project, and you can go into the project itself, look at the milestones, see their website, and so on. So it's very easy to access anything that is happening, even though an open source environment can be very quirky and sometimes difficult to keep track of. This is a fantastic resource. You can, if you don't know the names of the teams, you can also look for tooling. For example, you can put in Marlowe, you can put Aiken, and find everything that relates to that subject. Then, of course, there's the official Intersect members-based organization that maintains the Cardano node and maintains a lot of the official blockchain tooling. You can go to their GitHub repositories and check out how their toolings are useful. Since the last 2 Voltaire era hard forks, the Chang and the Plomin hard fork, there's also more and more tooling coming available for governance. You have the Cardano government tool, you have EssentialNet that allows the delegation to decentralized representatives that will make treasury votes in the future. And it's becoming more and more of a ADA holder dominated ecosystem and no longer controlled by the founding entities. So if you want to create a financial tooling that links into governance, this is also a very useful resource. Then there's the original community-driven APIs that allow to access the Cardano blockchain. So this was, I believe, originally funded on Project Catalyst Fund, maybe 5 or 4 a long time ago. And Blockfrost has become the go-to tool for easy integration with the blockchain. So you can just use the API and start building straight away with traditional development skills without a lot of smart contract specific knowledge. So this would tie in very well with your low-code Marlowe development as well. Then for middleware and for access to Cardano nodes, if you don't want to run the node yourself, Demeter Run is, as was discussed previously, one of the prime resources to easily launch up a node like this. You can even start for free, and you can buy credits for all these services. And the ecosystem is really growing, and even tools like Blockfrost, for example, are now available through TXPipe, the company behind Demeter. So it's definitely worthwhile to get an account here. And if you are getting accounts to develop on Cardano, Maestro is also definitely worth mentioning. It's another developer platform and API that lets you tap into the Cardano blockchain. Essentially allows you to do a lot of Web3 functionality without even writing any smart contracts. Another company that has a lot of useful tooling is Quadrant. It's a for-profit company that partners with Cardano and has developed a lot of tools that might be enterprise solution that you can use for larger projects that require a certain type of audit or tooling. We have mentioned Mesh.js before. This is a TypeScript SDK that combines very well with Aiken or Marlowe. And if you need access to EVM, if you want to cater to users who are used to a MetaMask Ethereum type environment, the Milkomeda Layer 2 by Spark is also an essential resource for Cardano cross-chain interoperability.